What's going on, guys? It's Giancarlo Guccione, and today I'm going to be talking about the law of equivalent exchange. I am not sick anymore. I'm feeling 100 times better, and we're just going to jump right in. So, what is the law of equivalent exchange? It means you sacrifice something and you get something of equal value in return. And there's two parts to this, but I like to preface this video by saying when you do something for somebody or when you do something for yourself, it is best to detach from the outcome of what you're going to get. And by detaching, you're actually sacrificing vision for presence. So that is the law of equal exchange, equivalent exchange. You're sacrificing vision for presence so you can live in the present moment and you can work towards your goals. But there's two parts to the law of equivalent exchange that I'd like to go over today. The first being some of us give to people who just take. And then we end up being empty. When you are empty, you have nothing to give. When you're empty, you have nothing to give. When you have no energy, you have no energy to give. So we have to focus on fulfillment before we start filling everybody else's cups. Sometimes being selfish is the most selfless thing that you can do. And that's not to confuse greed with self-preservation. You need to preserve yourself so you have more to give to the world. And let me tell you, if you're on a journey of fulfillment, the people who actually matter around you, they're going to be fulfilled from you becoming fulfilled. You're going to do a lot more to the people who actually matter just by filling your own cup first. I promise you, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. But seriously, that's another thing, guys. We give too much to the people who take. We have to focus on where our energy is going. That's another part of the law of equivalent exchange. If I sacrifice a good diet for a bad one, and I shouldn't expect to have my body become any healthier, look any better. If we're giving energy to people who don't really deserve it, we shouldn't expect to get something back in return that's good. We have to be able to focus on where our energy is going. And when we do have that energy to give, when we do have a full cup, we have to notice where it's going. Would you invest in a stock that you don't believe in? No, you wouldn't. And you shouldn't want to do it because everybody else is telling you to. You have to feel your gut. You have to do stuff that you truly believe in. You have to invest in people you truly believe in. And that's not always financially either. That's emotionally invest in people. That is invest in people's lives by being there for them. We create the space in people's lives. And by creating the space, we're letting them in. So we have to be careful where our energy is going, because if you give your energy to the wrong people, you are going to lose something, man. You're going to lose, and that's what actually brings your cup down to just drops of water, is giving stuff to the wrong people. Because if you have a full cup and you have a great support system and you're giving to all the right people, I promise you, your cup is never going to get empty, because that's the law of equivalent exchange. You're investing into the right place. You're doing the right thing. You're with the right people. You have the right mindset. Guys, I think it's time that we all start sacrificing any negative thoughts we have for positive ones. When you have positive vocabulary, when you have positive self-talk, that integrates into your brain. I actually made a video about this last week. There's so many ways you can look at the law of equivalent exchange in your life. But you do have to work for it. You have to work. You have to sacrifice hours, time, energy to things that matter to get something back in return. But I'm going to rewind this back to the beginning. Don't do things expecting the outcome. Detach from the outcome. Sacrifice that vision for presence. Sometimes we have to do that. When we're looking too far into the future, we're sacrificing presence for vision. We have to be able to switch between the two seamlessly so we don't future trip, but at the same time, we're not too complacent. We have to be able to switch between those two things, vision and presence. And that you have to use the law of equivalent exchange. Just start thinking about this, guys, because this brings balance to your life. Knowing that if you give the right things to the right people, you're going to get the right things back. If you focus all your energy on people who are just there to drain you, guys, some people grow up and they're very needy. They just need. I want more. I take more. They take, and they never felt what it feels like to give yet. They haven't really realized the true meaning of service. So they're so used to taking because they don't know how hard that service part actually is. Right? And some people who provide so much service and who have always known the value of it don't know when to take. So you have to have a balance between the two. But guys, you have to realize who is taking from you. Close your eyes and think to yourself. Think of a face who's taking the most energy from you, where you're not getting the same amount of energy back. And I'm sorry to say, but if you're thinking of a person and it's possible to let them go, you actually have to think about that. As painful as it sounds, you actually have to let people go sometimes who are taking too much from you. The people who aren't giving back to you. Because guess what? You don't deserve to earn their love through performance. They deserve to love you back. And that's even deeper than all of this. When you give to somebody, when you truly care for somebody, when you're truly present for somebody, you deserve that back. You really do. And even when you can't perform, even when you're in that fulfillment stage, like I said earlier, the right people who are around you, they'll feel fulfilled from you being fulfilled. I'm just going to talk about my girlfriend really quick. She's at the barn 6-7 days a week because she wants to go into horse massage therapy. 6-7 days a week. I can only really see her at night times right now. But her being at the barn fulfills me. I'm not making a problem like, why do you never want to see me? Why this? Why that? Because I'm a person who gets fulfilled by seeing other people get fulfilled. And you got to be that person too. For a while, I wasn't that person. For a while, I was anxiously attached. And I was more focused on me in the present, and I wasn't thinking about the future. And there's also times where I was thinking too much about the future and wasn't in the present. It's a nice balance between both. But I get fulfilled from watching her go out there. I know when I was training MMA twice a day, she was fulfilled from me seeing me work my ass off for the dream that I love most. And that's a perfect example, too. The people around you, if they're the right people, they're going to be fulfilled from you being fulfilled. They're going to love you for you. They're going to love you for your dreams. And guys, I'm going to wrap back to the beginning again. The law of equivalent exchange doesn't mean that you have to be attached to the outcome that you're receiving from what you are giving. It just means that you have to make sure you're giving to the right places, that you have enough energy, enough fulfillment, enough money to give to people before you start giving. You know, it always seems very selfless when people who don't have money give things to the people that do. But you can't do that. You have to look at the bigger picture. You have to care more about your life. You have to think, if I keep this money and I invest it into myself, is there something of more value I can give to this person? Or you have to think to yourself, is this person only trying to take from me because they're so used to taking? Do they not see that I don't have what they're asking for, or I don't have a lot of it? We have to start asking ourselves these big questions. These hard questions. Trust me, they're uncomfortable, but some of the most uncomfortable questions, if you sacrifice conformity and you sacrifice comfort and you ask yourself hard questions, you're going to get good answers in return. If you're always asking yourself easy questions, in return, you're not going to gain progress. You have to ask yourself hard questions. Just think about what you're giving, not only to other people, but in your own mind. What are you feeding into your own mind? Because we have a filter system of the law of equal exchange too. We filter in information. We filter in self-talk. Sometimes we talk bad about ourselves. Sometimes we say we suck, and we're filtering that in, and we're taking it into our brain. And what comes out when we perform in life is that we actually end up sucking, and we wonder why. You have to feed yourself positive self-talk. You have to tell yourself that you're good. You have to tell yourself that you're worth it. Even if it may seem delusional, you have to tell yourself that because it ends up becoming true. In psychology, people realize that the more you talk yourself up, the more you actually start believing it. And that is the law of equivalent exchange right there, in motion. You can see it in real time, talking to yourself in a positive way. You're going to get positive results. And guys, that's what I'm going to say today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed this one. And have a great rest of your day. And I'm looking forward to getting rid of my stuffy nose. Bye.